You're listening to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Classic Gamers Guild podcast. I'm your host, Anna. I'm here with your other host, Paul. I'm pointing at you because you probably can't see it right now. And we are going to talk about a very exciting year in gaming. It wasn't exactly the first, it wasn't the headliner year in gaming. It wasn't the year where all these firsts came out. It was a year where I feel the industry was just kind of settling into their groove and they were starting to see what adventure gaming was all about. And the year that I'm talking about is 1988. I'm sure y'all were dying to know that.
Yeah, we're talking 1988 today. I start all these episodes sounding like a weird car salesman for some reason. We got your 1988. There's adventure game. We're gonna talk about the games in 1988 because it's a year that qualifies as classic.
And, there's a lot of classic going on in that year. And we've taken it an extra dimension. We've actually, brought out games that were made this year. We've done a little bit of ranking, and we've done a little bit of, ideas about the games that we've played. So we have a format. We're going to do a thing.
Yeah. You're welcome. We put a solid 17 minutes into this episode for you guys, and I hope how much that takes. It's a little. It's a little bit of effort.
It's about right. So I'm gonna start this year off pretty big here with a game that's important to me. So I could technically end with it, but I'm gonna start with it, and that's King's Quest IV. And I'm gonna say the reason that this game is important to me is because it was my very first adventure game outside of say Donald Duck's Playground, which I know you can't really call it an adventure game, but it kind of had the format a little go around, you click on things, you spend money. Anyways, yeah. and I played this whole game all the way through. I never went on a trip to England, but I was also missing a couple of points. But it was so memorable. I mean, the first time I'm walking up towards the castle and the goons come and they grabbed me and I was taken away and all of a sudden I wasn't in control of the game. I thought that was pretty mind-blowing for me. I know you've played this game before, so I'm going to just run through my thoughts, and then you can go ahead and tell me your thoughts on this game. But that one really blew me away. The scary trees scared the crap out of me because they kill you, right? That was super intense. The whale versus the shark when you're off and swimming. I still rank it as my very, very favorite King's Quest game.
Yeah, I would rank 4 as my favorite as well. I played it recently too, so for the first time, just a couple of months ago. So I think all the things I loved about it are probably different than yours, because at 37 years old, it was hard to find the scary trees to be particularly stand out. That had been a trope I'd seen before at this point.
Sometimes I have a hard time differentiating between my initial impressions and memories of a game and how I feel about a game now, because you are correct. I have also played this game recently, and when I'm playing it, I remember how scary the trees were, but I wasn't scared.
Yeah, well, what was genuinely scary as a grown man who has a child that looks to him when he's scared to protect him, I was frightened by being in the dark with the troll, when you fall down the chasm 16 times before you get past it, that scene.
Yes.
It was literally wearing on my nerves. It was making me jumpy and because you're waiting for it the whole time. So yeah, as a grown man whose child thinks that he's, safe in my arms, I was brought to actual fear playing King's Quest IV. It was really scary.
Mm-hmm. It is. And it's also fast on the modern system. You can put on slow-mo, you can turn it down. It's still faster than it was when we originally played it. So he's just bam, he's there and you're dead. That's just it. You don't even have time. You're oh, I'll walk off the screen. No, you won't, honey. You're dead now.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You really think you can be like within 4 steps of the side of the screen. It's not enough. But no, it's a really good game. Like I'd managed to get to all this time in life and doing this podcast and talking to other people and Facebook groups and the whole deal and somehow it was never spoiled. Like nobody had ever spoiled the part that I'm about to spoil for everyone listening. So like, skip ahead a few, I guess. It doesn't matter. This is about to be a very forgettable sentence. It won't ruin much for you, but like, what was the forgettable sentence? How ironic. What was I going to say? I didn't know it would be that forgettable. Oh, yeah. I'm panicking because I really don't want to have to edit this. So I'm just going to say words until I remember it. Oh, no. Oh, okay. That it turns into night. That's salvageable. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with me for that. I had no idea that the game turns to night. So, like, when that happened, actually shortly after the scene with the troll where you make it outside of the cave and you get the thing near the snake and then it turns to nighttime, it blew my mind. Like, that was so cool. I had no idea this game had, like, a creepy vibe to it. Like, King's Quest, I played 1 through 3 in order, and it was just so... It was so sweet. You need like a root canal sort of sweet, like just too family friendly to a degree, just too vanilla. So I really wasn't expecting it to get really, really, kind of dark and zombies and all that kind of stuff. I didn't see it coming.
No, and the next thing you know, there's like dead babies and graves and all sorts of just amazing. Yeah. Ending the world, potentially. That's a thing that happened shortly after. So, yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's right. Yeah, a crying baby and cribs and ghostly cribs, ghost babies. Nobody likes ghost babies. It's very unsettling.
And Roberta's eyes, well, okay, the painting's eyes following you and your reflection in the mirror in the dark at nighttime, just like shivery.
Yeah. I think so much of my shock was again, just how bubblegum waterfalls the first 3 games are. I mean, I guess that's kind of objectively not true at all because you are like a child slave in the 3rd one, but it's a very bright color palette. It's just I just wasn't expecting it to go quite as dark as it did.
Yeah, the day to night thing blew me away. I've brought it up before. I'll bring it up again. Man, it is just so cool. And I don't think I've ever played the game where I didn't accomplish what I needed to do before nighttime. So I'm not sure if it's like an automatic item triggered event or if it's a time driven event, but it's never happened at the wrong time.
Yeah, I was just thinking about this last night about timed events because of Dagger of Amon-Ra and coding the game that I'm working on. Like, how would they have coded timing events? And I came to the conclusion that it would be, as far as I know, which isn't much, impossible to actually do like true timing, especially in like AGI or SCI engine. So like it has to be like an Amon-Ra was definitely triggered by events, like when you got the thing or talked to the person, the clock would change. And I think with King's Quest IV, it was whatever you do with the snake, when you walk across the stones over the water and whatever that, the details elude me, but
lute. You just play the flute thing and it, you hypnotize it.
Right. And then you walk back over the stones, and when you get to the entrance of the cave, that's when it turns to night. So I think it does that like no matter what, but maybe it doesn't do it if you're missing certain inventory items.
Yeah, that's a good question. Or, well, you weren't asking a question, but yes, that would be a good question to ask. So I've taken the time to rank all of the King's Quest games in order, even though they weren't all made in 1988. And then, okay, I was going to read you my ranking, and then Paul was going to read you his ranking, but it turns out we both pretty much agree on the ranking. So I'm just going to assume I know everything and read you our ranking as laid here. So number 1, top spot, King's Quest IV. I already said it. It's a good game. I just kind of told you why. So I'm not going to go back and say it again. King's Quest VI, I've put that next over King's Quest V, pretty much on the toss of a coin. But King's Quest VI is number 2 because it's whimsical. There's plants that talk. It's great. King's Quest V is next because it was hand-painted. It's a beautiful game. It was kind of funny in its own right. Like, it didn't take itself too seriously. There's, like, talking bugs and... Anyways, it was a fun game. Next, I'm going to pop King's Quest 8 in there. Yeah, I'm ranking it higher than anybody else in the world would. What are you going to do about it? My podcast. It's happening. And Paul doesn't even have to agree. He hasn't played this. I'm sticking it in there and assuming it's your opinion if you had played it, even though I know it wouldn't be. No reason. Moving on. Number 5, I rank number 3 in there. Now, I'm sorry for the lovers of 3. It is lower in my list because I didn't play it until later and I had to use a walkthrough. So, anyways, there's number 3. And next is number 1 because it was the very first King's Quest and I think it deserves to have a place not at the end of my list. And number 2 is after it simply because it isn't number 1. And I put number 7 at the end because I didn't really like it very much. I'm sorry. So, anyways, that's my standings.
Yeah, no, I agree with. I haven't played King's Quest 8, but I kind of just disagree with its placement based on the general public's hype. I'm shocked it's that high, but you know, I haven't played it, so I got to yield. You know, I'm gonna play a supportive team member and just have your back on it. You know, it should be.
Nobody else will. Nobody else will. So thank you. I'll take it.
But yeah, having not played 7 or 8, like omitting those two, my list is exactly the same. And as we previously discussed upon finding out our rankings were the same, is that we could both switch 5 and 6, like literally the flip of the coin. Whichever one I was like looking at a picture of would probably get the nudge. Like I didn't like 6 as much as I thought I would, but it's still good. It's still really good. It may be a little overhyped, but still good.
Yeah, it kind of screwed me over time-wise. I had some issues with the Nightingale. A couple of times I played, I felt like I got, like, blocked, and I wasn't able to go any further, even though I was doing exactly what I was supposed to do, but I didn't do something in the right order of operations. And even though, like, 5 was supposed to be tricky, the desert and everything else, I don't know. I'm a little map drawer. I draw little squares with lines connected and just kind of pay attention. It was really logical, and it was beautiful. 5 blew me away because it was just so beautiful.
Yeah, I like the environment, like the world or atmosphere, where all those words. I like that about 5, probably more than 6. Like it had such an adventure-y kind of vibe about it. I really liked it. My problem with 5 was that trying to knock on the door on the boat. That took me like a half hour, like to find the hot spot. Like it was
spot, yeah.
something was kind of wonky about it.
Yeah, see, and even just talking about it, I'm flipping back and forth. But yeah, 6 was more enjoyable in the fact that it was whimsical. You know, it had a little bit, well, they're both whimsical. I keep coming back to that garden. I think the garden and that swamp and the weeping willow, scenes like that really make it stand out for me.
Yeah, no, they are both whimsical, but it had like a, I don't know, it had a cool, not Tim Burton, but like, I can't really put my finger on exactly it, but like the talking chess pieces, there was just something kind of extra about 6. It was kind of magical. All right, I got a question before we move on, and also to the listeners, there's not a lot of games from '88. I mean, at least adventure wise, and like we'll cover non-adventure ones probably, maybe, I know, list some later. But like, there's not a lot of adventure games from '88, so we're just gonna take our time here with the few that we got. So that being said, I wanted to ask you, Anna, for King's Quest 4, tell me your favorite and least favorite parts about it.
My favorite part is the conversion into night. The moment when the night changes and the stars pop up and everything gets a little bit more scary. That's definitely my favorite.
Okay, same.
And the art. Yeah. But yeah. And my least favorite would be that stupid shark.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Huh. Yeah, that was a pain, but I don't remember it being like, particularly annoying.
Well, the computer was slow. It took a long time to swim across the screen on the old computer. It also took a long time to reload when you had to save. So again, childhood memory, but you're almost all the way across the screen. The shark decides it's going to get you. There's nothing you can do, and then you have to load and do it all over again. That's kind of all that's all about, really.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. I played it, emulated or whatever, so I didn't have the speed thing. All right, I agree. Same favorite, and then least favorite would be the... I know it's kind of generic, but I guess the whale, because it was just that weird diagonal climb. It's pretty hard to get down.
Yeah. Yeah, that one was a pain in the butt. I scummed it like the casino on a Larry game. You know, every
Right.
time you take a step and you don't fall, you save it right there.
Yeah.
Then all you have to do is I break it down into patterns, right? Left, right, up, down, or the diagonals. And I found 2 diagonals were allowed to be used in this game and were very helpful.
Oh, that is cool. Okay. Yeah, and then the diagonal key, if you had it, you could use, which I don't think anybody had.
No, not then, but now.
Yeah. And then quick nerdy facts. I don't really have many for the rest of the games, but for 4, it's cool because it's the only CR game that has an AGI and an SCI version, which is pretty cool. We touched on that a little bit when Al Lowe was on the episode. When we interviewed Al, he was talking about the development of the 2. And he had mentioned that, you know, there was an entirely separate team working on the AGI version, I think parallel, like at the same time. So that's kind of cool. It's an AGI and SCI version. You could, you know, if you like want to replay it one day, maybe try the opposite of what you played before, or don't, doesn't matter. And then there's also, for the SCI version, there's 2 versions. There's the 8-disc version. No. There's the 8-disc version and the 9-disc version.
Which one do I have? As you're talking, I'm gonna be checking that.
Yeah, take a look. So the 7-disc version, sorry, the 8-disc, the lesser disc version, the one with less discs is the last one made, the most current version, let's say, because they did this thing where they would use the same room sprite, the same piece of art, and they would just overlap the nighttime scene onto it to save disk space. So they basically would put a filter over the day sky to make it a night sky. And then with the 9-disc version, the one prior to that, there was just, you know, entirely different rooms for each one. So yeah, it's kind of cool. There's like little subtle differences in the art. I think it's easiest to tell when you're looking at, say, the outside of the ogre's house and the witch's cave, the skull cave. Like those are the screenshots you can really see the difference in the art. But yeah, so that's kind of neat. There's technically 3 different PC versions alone of that game.
See, I have the 9-disc version for those interested.
Oh, cool. See, I think that's the one that's a little harder to find. I could be wrong, but I feel like that one took a little longer, at least for me to find. And then the AGI is probably the hardest one to find because they quickly realized when they offered that, you know, being kind to people who might not have updated software in time. I think they quickly realized that they really didn't need to because the AGI version didn't sell very well.
No, but you know, go get it just for the Easter eggs, if nothing else.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably the one with the Batman leaving the cave thing and stuff before they got busted and had to take it out.
And the Beam Me Up Scotty's in there where you float up and you go up into the ceiling and you get to meet all the developers and designers and they do the Roberta rap. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah.
All right, what do you want to cover next for 88?
Oh, well, hey, if we're going with me, I'm gonna hit some Leisure Suit Larry 2 because now I don't think I played Leisure Suit Larry 2 in 88 or 89. I probably hit it a little closer to like 90, 91, something in there. But yeah, it was great. You know what? This game, it started you off with a dating show pretty much. And then like the beach scenes in it are absolutely gorgeous. I remember when you get the haircut at the barbershop, or not the haircut, the opposite of a haircut. And then you see Larry close up and I'm like, that can't be what he looks like. I remember thinking like he looked kind of funny in that game because like in number 1, you could only see him and he was just pixels, right? So I had like a certain, I don't know, an imagination of what he looks like. And there's all these close-ups in the second one. And I'm like, oh man, he's just like some old guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's always a weird thing, right? When you like when you've decided on what a character looks like and then it gets adapted to, you know, like a book to a film and you see the people playing them and like, it's not right at all.
Yeah, it's not. Sometimes I'll do that and I'll be like, I can't even watch it. They look too different. And then I'll come back to it like a year later. I'm like, okay, now I'm okay with it.
I'm over it. It's fine.
It just took a while. The first time you see it for what it isn't, and then the second time you see it for what it is. That's a bit of wisdom you can take home with you there.
Wow. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to actually cut that out and put it on Patreon because you should have to pay for that.
Yeah, and the ranking system. So the crazy tropical marriage. Spoiler, like it was kind of a fun game. It had a lot going on, like because it was the first time Al kind of had to go off and create his own game because the first one was already written for him. He was like handed the plot. Here it is. Make a game out of it. And now he's like, okay, now I got to make a game. So this one's like Al's game. And so I think it's pretty cool for that reason. It didn't rank at the top of my ranking list, but it is definitely a good game.
Yeah, that's a great point. I never thought of that because I guess the first one would have just largely been based off of soft porn. And yes, this would be his first one.
I mean, not his first game, of course, and of course he worked on King's Quest IV, and well, he touched just about every game floating around Sierra in 1988. He was right up all in there at that time.
Yeah, especially Donald Duck.
Yeah, and that too. Gotta love the Donald Duck's Playground. And all the other Disney games he did too, and yeah, busy guy.
Yeah, I played Donald Duck for a little bit before we interviewed him all that time ago, and again for a grown man in his late 30s, I spent a shocking amount of time playing it. Like I really actually had quite a good time with that game. It was pretty fun.
Well, it gives you guilty. It's got everything, right? I mean, I know it's not an 88 game, but anyways, I mean, like you get to go out, you get to earn money, you get to go to the store and you get to buy stuff to upgrade your swanky playground, and like. What a great closed loop kind of a game. It has everything, really.
Yeah, exactly. Those are the kind of games that turn me into that back in my day kind of guy. Well, back in my day, games had values, really taught kids morals.
It's true. That is one of those. And it's like, but it's Disney. It's like the opposite of morals. But you're like, no. Not back then. We didn't see that stuff at all.
Yeah, there was... Yeah.
Yeah, so I took the time to rank the Larry games too, and in my Larry ranking, I placed number 2 at number 3. I'm sorry, I couldn't give it a better spot, but I had to place number 1 at number 1 because in this series it was the first one. It was the first one I played, and it was the first time I got to experience what a lover is, and a prostitute, and whiskey, and all sorts of things that I really needed to know at the tender young age I was when I played it.
That Larry one's like the shitty uncle you never had,
He totally is. I'm like, Uncle Larry, man, I've been waiting for you. I cannot sit on your lap. No, sorry. But, yeah. So anyways, I got 1 at number 1. I got 3 at number 2 because, I mean, if 3 is a great game all the way through, I love the fact that you can play as Larry, you can play as Patty, and then at the end it's like super mind-blowing because they break the fourth wall, and essentially it could have been the end of the series, and Rosella jumps in, and it's amazing. But yeah. So I rank 3 next, I rank 2 next. Great game, that's fine. I rank 7 next. I think Al Lowe ranked it as his first, but I did enjoy 7. It was a fun cartoon. Then you got 6. Because 6 was fun too. It was fine. And then I ranked 5 last because I still don't fully like 5. So it would be last.
Yeah, that's fair enough. In my rankings again, I haven't played 6, so which is weird. Just because I've played 7 and 5 and such. But that said, it doesn't matter. Omitting 6, I've got number 3. In the top spot, I think that's just it's pretty close to a perfect game. I love
beautiful.
3.
It could have knocked 1 out. I said I kept 1 because of the OG aspect thing for me, and you can see in my ranking system, I've generally put in number 1 spot the one I played first.
Right. Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah. That's it's like a to almost honor it. But yeah, I've got three first. And then I've got number 1. And then I've got number. Sorry, I can't find my list, but you know what? It started in my head, so I can. We'll get through this.
It's still in there. You can do it.
Yeah, making this just real painful for everybody. I'm sorry. Okay, so 3 is first, and then 1 is second, and then 2 is third, and then 7 is 4. And then 5 is last, and I haven't played 6, but I can just already say that 6 is ahead of 5. I had no fun playing that game.
Neither. 5 made me mad. A, I've said it before because it wasn't 4, and B, because it was point and click, and C, because it was like, I don't know, Ultima 9 or something. It's just like, what is a penis? I'm just like, okay, I get it. I know what a penis is. Let me just play the game. Okay.
And another reason Larry 3 is number one, because you get to see Larry's penis, and that was just a treat. I
really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I was confident I was a straight man until that game, and now I just don't know.
It's true.
Can't
and
get it
water
out of my head.
views, the shower stuff, and there's just cool stuff. It's a good game.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. So, in an honorable nerdy mention, there's a point-and-click adaptation of Leisure Suit Larry 2 at Adventure Game Studio at AGS, which would be adventuregamestudio.co.uk. And check it out. It's really, really bloody faithful. Oh, just this month, there was an adaptation of King's Quest IV made in AGS as well, which is a point-and-click adaptation of that as well. So if you don't like text parsers, which I respect, then Leisure Suit Larry 2 and King's Quest IV both have very, very well done, faithful reproduction, blah, 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 point-and-click versions. Go check it out. Or don't.
Yeah, very, very pretty and well updated and all that. And free. So all of those words are words that would convince you. They convinced me.
Yeah, no, I like them. Those are some fine words you said.
Thank you. So I think that's it. I think we're pretty good on Leisure Suit Larry 2. I only have... Do you have any last words on Larry 2?
No.
Okay. Yeah. I wouldn't either. Neither did his wife at the beginning. So, okay.
Nice.
So we're going to go on to another 2, which is Police Quest 2, which, again, a fantastic game that just popped up and surprised me. One of the things I really liked about this game was just, for one, it was just so pretty. It was a beautiful game. The colors were great. Yeah. Now, I'm not talking about any Japanese versions of any Police Quest games or anything weird like that. I'm just talking about Police Quest 2.
I'll cover that. Don't worry.
That's it. Yeah, no, I'm sure you will. But I kind of missed doing the driving in 2. I was really good at doing it in 1. And now you're just like hanging out with Keith and going off in the car and telling them what to do. So there's that. Whole Jesse Baines saga continuing was pretty cool. I mean, the ending with Marie was pretty amazing. I liked the Leisure Suit Larry Easter egg up in the airport. I mean, there's lots of things that kind of stick in my head. Keith at the end, he's like, I think I'm going to quit smoking. And then you're like, yeah, I don't really believe him, but I'm just going to go along with it for the story. So, yeah, buddy. Yeah, good for you, man. This is a funny game.
Yeah, I feel like he lacks the resolve. I don't know. That's of all the loose ends with Sierra. That's the one I would like tied up the most. Did Keith ever quit smoking?
Yeah, I don't see it at all. But yeah, it was fun. You know what? In that game, you got to run the computers. You got to go search through the filing cabinet. You got to learn more about the codes. I was really freaking good at getting my gun sighted in that game.
Oh yeah, I was not.
No, that one was it. And then it was, remember there was like the plane hijacking later and it was like super racist. And yeah, no, that was fun.
Yeah, well, it's funny because, I mean, the heroics involved in that just greatly overshadow anything else you did in the game. And it gets very little attention. Like you saved a good 900 lives that day, minimal.
I know. And you're like a silver commendation. I swear to you, this is at least a gold, if not a platinum or a diamond commendation. Yeah. What the hell is with this silver?
And just Keith is just so comfortable in his own skin that he just fucks off and doesn't help you there either. Like he's just
nope.
He's very true to himself. This, you know what you're gonna get. Yeah, he believes in you, which you gotta give him that.
100% confidence. It feels good. Yeah.
But yeah, it's amazing. It's just it gets a passing mention in the game, basically. Like, oh, you stop it, but hey, that petty drug criminal Jesse Baines, that's the stuff right there. You stopped him. We're proud of you for that. The plane thing was just a weird kind of like, yeah, that's fine. Good job.
It's like a little quick side story. You're like, and who knows what that plane would have crashed into, and you know, so many horrible things. Because they're like, oh yeah, we're good. Just take us, and give us a quick plane ride to whatever destination, and you guys are all going to be safe, right? I think that's how they approached it. And he's just like, you ain't taking nobody nowhere. And he just like took him out right there.
Yeah. I really like the
so badass too.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yeah, Sonny could handle his own. He's pretty shockingly competent considering we were the ones controlling him.
Yeah, right.
But that game just for like 6 minutes I wanted to be a cop because of that game because they did such a great job of making you feel like it. Like the two examples to back that up would be the diving sequence, like the eerie music when you're under the water and then you find the dead body in the water and then I don't know, there's the whole thing with like the diving team pulling up and suiting up to go into the water and then pulling the corpse out of the water was just I don't know, that really stuck with me as a kid for better or worse. And yeah, I'm just terrified of water. I'm not sure if that's related, but I don't like water I can't see my feet in because you don't know what's going to come get you. But I also don't like water you can see your feet in because you can see what's going to get you. But you can't really do anything about it because, you know, they got fins and stuff and you don't. So it's kind of their territory. Anyway.
That's why you only take showers and not baths. No, totally makes sense.
Yeah. No, as a kid, I refused to do bubble baths because I was, I thought like a shark would come up the drain.
What the fuck is under there?
Yeah, exactly. Physics aren't a big deal to children, so it really freaked me out. But yeah, and then the other one was when you go to the motel and you know, you got to kind of go through procedure and they break down the door and just like, you know, the music was so intense and this is the birth of the MT32 era too, right? The King's Quest 4 being the first to do it, but all these Sierra games in the SCI 0 kind of era had the super trippy. But trippy's not the right word. It doesn't matter. Super good MT32 music that really added to the suspense of Police Quest.
Authentic, musical, like fit with the game. It would like bring you into the game more. I didn't have a roll into MT32, so this is my adult opinion, but it really did. It made the game that much more real, which is silly, right? I'm talking about a pixelated game, but it really does add another dimension to it.
It does, yeah. Especially again, that game makes it just so much more intense where you're like, yeah, this is just a stupid pixelated game, but I'm kind of a little freaked out in the water right now about this corpse because, you know, it's gross. But, and the opening theme is amazing, but it's maybe my favorite theme. I don't know, nowadays I'd say the Space Quest 3 opening theme with the MT32 is probably my favorite ever, but Police Quest 2 would be a really close second. But like I kind of ruined it for myself because I made that theme the ringtone to one of my exes because she was always bloody. She was always coming to get me. You know, it was always like, you know, gonna get yelled at. Yeah, exactly. She's gonna yell at me. I hate it. And so yeah, now when I hear it, it kind of triggers that same little heart feeling of like, oh shit, and then it's like, oh wait, this is the game, not my phone. Doesn't matter. Just don't do what I did, people. Don't put a beloved theme to an ex's ringtone because it'll ruin it.
It would. And I mean, you don't know if they're ever, don't make it as a loved one's theme tone either because they might become an ex is the point.
Yeah, that's the tricky part. Yeah.
It is, right? Because you're like, you're not an ex, so I can assign a ringtone to you. This is a great idea.
Yeah, it's like a trick question kind of thing. You know, just don't do it. And honestly, if you're that kind of person, don't get tattoos.
I was going to say, that was like totally late. That was exactly what I was going to say. Just, you know, one logically follows the other, really. And don't use a tattoo as a replacement. Like, I'm not going to get a ringtone of her, so now I'm going to tattoo her name on me or him. Don't do that.
Exactly. And I'm not judging because I did the ringtone thing, which is related to the tattoos, which goes to say that I have a Day of the Dead horse on my neck. Location's fine because of my profession and stuff. It's all good. But the point is that I didn't really want a horse on my neck. I just had to cover something else up. So just
Passion
take it from
does
me, kids.
crazy things.
Yeah, just stop with the ringtones and tattoos, or you might have a weird horse on your neck. All right,
And a game you can't play. That's That's a good Easter egg. Somehow in a game, there's but there's a horse on the guy's neck. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're like, who would do that in real life? Nobody, right?
It's something I would totally do in my game, but we're doing low resolution, so it would just be one black pixel on the neck. It wouldn't.
Is that a barcode? What? I don't know. Yeah, doesn't work. But yeah, so apparently, okay, I have other adventure games. I haven't taken notes on these other ones. I'm going to give a nod here because definite props to Gold Rush, which came out in 1988 because, okay, it's a beautiful box. It's a beautiful game. There's beautiful books inside the game box. Teaching you about California Gold is the game that is educational, and it doesn't have a problem letting you know that.
I've got so much to say. Okay, hold on. So, wait, real quick, let's rank Police Quest real quick.
Okay. Oh, right. Oh, totally. Okay. I'm going to rank Police Quest. I'm going to do it nice and easy. Police Quest 1, Police Quest 2, Police Quest 3, Police Quest Squad, a different series. Done. Easy.
Done. Wow, that was super efficient. Okay. Mine's going to be more convoluted than that. Okay, ready? 1, Police Quest 2 Japanese. Hands down. It's just the greatest thing that's ever happened. And honestly, like I've done a few good things in my life, and right above having my son, I would say would be... Wait, right below.
Freudian slip of the tongue there.
God, please don't grow up and listen to these. Oh my God. Right around that would be making Ken Williams himself aware of its existence. That's something I'm just going to take to the grave with me. When we interviewed him, buddy, go listen to it or don't. I mean, we get no money for this. It doesn't matter. I don't really care.
It's up to you, man. You're missing out if you don't, though. I mean,
yeah, it was good stuff.
I say that because I made it. Look at my picture I drew.
And a quick side note: our Patreons, we really, really do appreciate you. And you guys cover almost all the fees it costs to do the show. But I am being truthful that we don't actually make money. We just only lose a little thanks to you guys, and that's sincere. Thank you. But anyway, yeah, telling Ken Williams about that was one of the highlights of my life, and then so number 2, so that's number 1 is the Japanese one. Number 2 is Police Quest 1 because I'm probably obsessed with adventure games because of Police Quest 1. And then Police Quest 2 is 3, and Police Quest 3 is at 4. And SWATs, I have no opinion on it. It kind of bums me out.
It was really hard. It didn't have any characters I knew, and it was like a police procedural. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I'm sorry, but it was just a different series to me. It was the SWAT series that sort of like branched off of the Police Quest series. Yeah,
totally. Oh, we're totally, both of us are forgetting Open Season.
Oh yeah, well that's okay. I'll keep forgetting it.
Yeah, it was done by that terrible person, so it's fine.
I did. I played it. I got it. I didn't know who Gerald Gates was or any of that other stuff, and I didn't know any of the background. I knew it was controversial, so I was super excited to play it because I wanted to see how gritty and all that other stuff it was. But I also didn't get very far in it, even though I was anticipating it to be fun.
I will say, if you haven't played it, don't play Blue Force instead by Jim Wallace, because
which I still haven't played. You know that, right? I never
honestly,
even knew it existed till I met you.
It's just totally fine. Like it's not great. Like there's more games you probably should play first anyway. But it is. I think it was Tsunami. It was after Jim Wallace left Sierra. But it's more. I think it's like more of like a spiritual Police Quest 4 than Open Season, because again, it's a Jim Wallace cop game, and it's fine. It's fine. We'll just leave it there. Yeah. Okay, so anyway, back to Gold Rush. The greatest.
This is where we're at.
The 96th greatest game of all time.
That list is authentic. Yes, where you can go to Brazil and you can start off in Brooklyn and you can choose your expeditions, and it's not an easy game, but to me, out of all of the quest games, the ending is the most satisfying. Not that I need to reveal exactly what happens, but it's pretty simply, it's what you were going for, and then you accomplish it, and it happens, and it feels good, and more.
Yeah, there may or may not be gold involved with the ending.
You wouldn't imagine that would be. But so, okay, you have lots to say. Say your thing. I think I'm supposed to put you on a time limit when we talk about this game. So I'm going to mentally think about what the time limit is, but I'm not going to tell you. Go.
Well, back in 1991, I was just a wee little lad, and in walked my father through the door. It was a blustery winter day. No, I guess I've said most of the things. It's a beautiful game and it's so fun. And there's 3 different routes you could do. So if you've played it and you're like, I played it, it's fine. Buddy, go play it again. Do one of the other routes. You'll surely like it more. That's not true. If you don't like it, you're not gonna like it. But I love it. I think it's an amazing game. The donkey is just the worst person, but he's fun. He's a free spirit, We're just a bloody, you can't. He's untethered or something.
Yeah.
A lot of F3 when you're mining for gold. That's kind of
always.
That's kind of a bummer.
That. Yeah.
Don't step on the grass.
No, never.
Yeah, and that's it. Let's save some mystery, But go play it. But that's the most important thing, because I think it's one of those Sierra games, just adventure games in general, but specifically like for the Sierra group that love all the Sierra games. Like a few games get kind of like overlooked that are amazing, and I think Gold Rush and like Longbow and you know what I mean. Like certain titles like that are just like amazing games, and they don't get mentioned as much as I would like. I guess that might not be true either. I don't know. I'm making this bloody game so much. I haven't been on the internet in like a year, so I don't know what people are saying. But
no,
it doesn't matter.
No one's
Just
talking about that.
Okay.
Yeah, say it more. Talk about it more. No, it's good. And Gold Rush is pretty. The main thing you just need to keep in mind is don't take your time and lollygag in the beginning. Get your shit done and move along, because you're literally losing money all the time and you have like 12 minutes to sort your shit out. So.
Yeah, just get it all together. Put it in a bag and get on your way.
Other than that, great game. Brilliant. I'm going to move right along also to Manhunter, because I'm not going to talk about it very long. But Manhunter New York, I have my original big box here. It is, again, a beautiful, creepy, wonderful game done by Dave and Barry Murray, as well as their sister Dee Dee Murray. And they did the Ancient Art of War series. So that's the Ancient Art of War and the Ancient Art of War at Sea, which I've done a podcast episode on because I think they're lovely games. Manhunter is a lovely game that I didn't finish. It has no mouse support. You're kind of like an orb following them around. I got as far as doing like the knife game where you put the knife in between the guy's hand. I think there was something to do with darts and trying not to kill people or something a little earlier than that. But I never finished it. I still want to finish it. It's on my list of games to finish. There are 250 scenes in this game. Like, I want to see every single one of those.
Yeah, I feel shame for not having finished it. Like I watched my dad play it and maybe finish it when I was like 7 or 8. But that doesn't count for much. It's a really cool game in that I haven't played it and I shouldn't even say that. I have no right to. But like I love the idea of the game because it kind of gives me a vibe that it's a bit ahead of its time. Like there's some weird kind of cyberpunky aspects of it with like digital intestines and like just weird dark things going on and cultish things, and it's not a very it's not a family friendly kind of game in a good way.
No, exactly, which is why as a kid I should have liked it more. What I think happened is by the time I got Manhunter, I had other games that I was playing. Like, I think if I'd have gotten Manhunter early, kind of like I did King's Quest IV, I would have put more time, thought, and effort into it.
Right. Yeah, that's point.
By the time my dad brought it home, it was probably like 3 or 4 years later. And so I was like already getting into different games. Yeah, I don't know. I blame timing, but sometimes I feel like I just wasn't smart enough to figure out the game, the timing.
Well, that's very big of you. It's you're really having a real self-aware moment.
I have too many of those sometimes. It's like, is it worse now that I can see what my problems are, but I still can't fix them? It's like, maybe I just don't want to know what they are. This is like not good.
Yeah, I know. The older I get, the more of like a red pill kind of person I feel like becoming.
Exactly. But yeah, outside of that, there was some other great games that came out. So before we touch on these things called non-adventure games, do you have any other adventure games that you want to bring up first?
I do. And this is LucasArts. We've got a LucasArts game to cover, which is Zak McKracken, and
Nice.
I apologize to listeners because I know there's a ton of LucasArts fans, and to the point where a lot of LucasArts fans that just don't even like Sierra. So we probably shouldn't have made you sit through like all the Sierra ones before getting to Lucas. That's on me. I'm sorry because this one I've played and Anna hasn't. So it was up to me. I dropped the ball back there, man. I'm real sorry. But we got Zak McKracken and the Alien Mindbenders, which I really like. I thought it was a lot of fun. I know it's kind of regarded as maybe the lesser of maybe all the LucasArts games, maybe next to or around the Dig, which I also happen to really really like. But Zak McKracken is a really fun game, and I played it with a walkthrough, which is maybe possibly why I like it so much, because from what I understand, it's pretty infuriating as far as difficulty is concerned. And I do remember there were times where I was reading the walkthrough and just kind of on autopilot, like, yeah, this is like you just want to do the thing it's telling you to do before you even forget what like you're being told the answer and it's hard to even remember the answer. That's how complicated it got at points. But
Yeah.
but I thought it was really fun. It's a really cool idea where like you work for like one of those rag mag kind of things where it's like Inquirer or the Bloody Sun. Am I right? A little political humor. Sorry. It was just the worst. But yeah, you work for one of those, Bat Boy was born last night kind of magazines, and things, get a little out of control, or you end up in a space traveling van and stuff like that. But it's a lot of fun, and it's got a cool kind of globe-trotting vibe where like you go, you go to the airport and fly to different locations, and that's another thing LucasArts always did really, really good, especially in like Fate of Atlantis or even Last Crusade, where you get that cool globe-trotty adventure feeling from it. And like Fate of Atlantis, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think I am. That you could control or decide where you went in like what order. It wasn't linear, so you really just felt like, oh, I'm going to the airport. I wonder where I'll go today. And so that there was something kind of cool about that for me, aspect wise. So yeah, that's a really cool game. I'll just say that there's an EGA and a VGA version of it, and then there's also a really really well done remake of it also on AGS. There's a it's hard to say because there is a VGA version, but the remake on AGS is like, it looks like if the game was made in like 94. Like it's just beautiful, like just amazing, gorgeous graphics. But at the same time, like I'm glad I played the VGA version because it has more of that Maniac Mansion sort of vibe to it, which is it's just charming and just more colorful, the pinks and cayennes and stuff like that. So yeah, anyway, a bunch of options with Zak McKracken, but I think it's a really good game. I liked it.
Yeah, so having not played it, I've always been fond of the cover art. I know Steve Purcell did it, and I'm a big fan of his. Obviously, he did like Sam and Max. He did the comics and the cartoons and everything. So he put together a fun front cover for the big box on that. If I was to actually be able to afford a LucasArts big box, which I'm not, that would be a fun one to have just for the art.
Yeah, honestly, I think this is the most expensive one too. Of all
it's a really hard one.
Yeah, I got lucky and got it in like 2013 before everything got like crazy price wise. So yeah, I think
lucky.
I got it for a bloody tank of gas.
Yeah, the only LucasArts games I have that are actually in the big box is Maniac Mansion in the hard big box and Maniac Mansion in the Lust big box, and I have no others.
That's a good one to have. That one's crazy expensive too nowadays, probably.
Yeah, both super random. One just I've had since I was a kid, and the Lust box was just like somebody at a store going, "Hey, I got this box with no game in it. You want it? Since it doesn't have the game in it." And I'm like, "Yes." And then I like read the back of it, and I'm like, "Am I reading the word lust right now? Am I reading the word lust right now? Oh my god!" I was so surprised.
And so, to listeners too, my child's not being like murdered or anything. He's fine. He's just an animated little fellow.
I thought he was just barking like a dog. So
Yeah, it might have been.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like to me.
That
Sometimes
means
other people can understand your kids better than you, you know?
Yeah, no, you think it was. That means it's time for you to put feed in his bowl.
Yeah, no, exactly. You do have to feed them at least twice a day, I've heard. So
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
bullshit, but it's true.
So
Okay,
Zak
there's-
McKracken, yes.
Yeah, Zak McKracken, buddy, go check it out. It's on GOG probably. And then
Yeah.
to wrap up adventure games, I'll just quickly kind of mention these, and we can move to non-adventures and wrap this thing up. But we've got Neuromancer, which is kind of weird because it's like an adventure game. That it's not a console game is what I'm trying to say, but it looks like one. Like it's got that vibe of like when adventure games made it to console. Like it just has even the soundtrack is very like 16-bit kind of sounding. Like it's just got a heavy console vibe, at least to me. And that's from watching about 16 seconds of playthrough on YouTube. So for what it's worth.
This is authentic.
But yeah, it just looks like an adventure game made for what, not Genesis, what do they call it? No, Genesis. Yeah, that's
Yeah, Genesis, Sega Genesis.
but it was, you know, it was a DOS Apple Commodore Apple Amiga saying computer names at you game. So check it out maybe. If you do, let us know what you think, cuz you know, I care. I think. If that's sincere, I don't know.
That sounded really sincere.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah, I hit the tone I
totally.
was looking for. Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic. All right, so Bloody, there's a game called Snatcher, and I don't know anything about it, but it's a thing. If you played it, you might have just said to yourself out loud, "Oh, I played that." And I heard you.
We respect the fact that you played it and actually look forward to you telling us about why we should. So
Yes.
please do.
And I really respect the fact that you muttered out loud, "Oh, I played that," like knowing that we couldn't hear you. I think that's awesome, and I do that too. And then the last one I want to cover is Deja Vu 2. It's another game I just love the idea of. You know, I want to say I've played it, but I haven't, and that's it. I'm done.
Love the idea that you might have potentially played it as well. Yes,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
you didn't. But I love the idea that, you know, you could.
Yeah, there's a timeline that exists somewhere where the Paul in that one totally just played the dog shit out of it. He loved it.
Yeah, totally. So yes, okay, so that's out of adventure. Now here's what I did. I took a giant list of like the 1,000 non-adventure games that happen in this year.
Oh, mate. So this is bloody embarrassing, but I lost the audio for the rest of the show. So I know it might seem like some sort of sabotage on my behalf because we were just getting to the non-adventure game part, but the joke's on me because now I gotta list it, you know, by myself, which is, you know, let's just get through this. We gotta take our vitamins. So here we go. We had Super Mario Brothers 3. We all played that game. That's a great game. It really is. So let me drop the snide attitude. It's unbefitting or whatever. It's a good game, right? You could be Tanuk. You were a raccoon and you could fall slowly. So that was fun. There's also another one. I like a few of these. We got Mega Man 2, which was the best Mega Man. I love that game. I spent time playing it for sure because you had you had Wood Guy and Bubble Man, and it was the villains in that game. It was just a great time, and I miss Anna. We really could use her right now, all of us, to get through this. We had Splatterhouse. That was a great game. I really liked that. Played that on the Neo Geo. Was it? Maybe. Let's just go with maybe. But anyway, great game. Just super violent, a lot of fun. There was also Contra, which Anna said when we recorded this originally, because we had a whole conversation. You should have been there. It was a fun time. She really liked that game. I do not, but that's fine. Oh, Anna also said that she liked that and Golden Axe, which I played. Golden Axe is fine. I don't think that was the same year, so let's just keep going. Contra, I think a lot of you probably love that game because most people do. So that's that happened this year. Yeah, Mega Man 2, Mario Brothers 3. Yep, Mega Man 2. I just said that. Splatterhouse, Contra. Oh, California Games. That's right. And Anna and I both really liked that one. Anna said something along. She might have played it with her dad or something. She had a nice memory. It was a great story. Just gonna have to trust me on that. So, yeah. Let's stop there. Because honestly, I think those were really the ones we talked about when we had recorded it together. I'm rushing this out. The show goes live in a few hours. I'm just finishing up editing, and I realized that for some reason the end of the thing is gone. So I'm just gonna say these words, and I did. So good stuff, great job. Thank you all for listening. That was a show. Now I'm gonna say some things at you because that's what I usually do. And last night we had like this cheeky little back and forth about how I was gonna say so. You know what? I can't recreate that. It was just lightning in a bottle. It was banter. I don't have the other half here with me to bounce off of. So let's just do this thing. Come join the discussion in the community. We're a page, we're a group on Facebook. Come say hello to us. Join our lovely community if you're not already. It's a bloody good time. We're on Instagram at CGG Podcast. We're on Twitter at CGG Podcast. Come say hello. Do us a tweet. Do us a gramming. Leave us a gram. Insta face. Okay, send us an email. Mail at classicgamersguild.com. We really like getting emails, so send us one if you want to. We got an email from somebody, and I'm so sorry I can't remember the name. You know what? But for the next show, I'm going to look it up and shout it out proper next week. Which means that probably this time next week I'll have to pause the recording to actually look it up and then edit that whole bit out and paste it in like nothing was skipped. But we got an email requesting that we cover the Tex Murphy series, which I think is a great idea. Anna and I have both played and absolutely adore Under a Killing Moon. I love that game. I know Anna does too. So we were kind of thinking at minimum, perhaps we could do an episode just on Under a Killing Moon. But we were kind of chatting like if we have time and we can kind of squeeze it in. We're also playing. We have homework. We're both playing games for episodes. We're getting kind of ready for the October Halloween scary game thing. But if we can find time to play more Tex Murphy games, we kind of would like to do that so we could cover more than just Under a Killing Moon. Like I'd like to play like Pandora Directive or possibly Mean Streets. She was talking about maybe playing Martian Random. So yeah, anyway, thank you for that email. I'm going to shout that name out next episode. And we were going to, we're going to get on top of that. But anyway, send us an email, mail at classicgamersguild.com. Huge thank you to all of our Patreons. Really appreciate and love you guys. If you want to become a Patreon, go to patreon.com/classicgamersguild and throw $1 at us if you want to. It doesn't matter. You don't have to. But if you do, we really appreciate it. It definitely helps us out a lot. And extra special thanks to those in our extra special thanks tier, which probably needs to be reworded. but regardless, to those in our extra special thanks tier, that would be Una and Gus, Jay Holmes, and Mark Fillion. We love you guys. Thank you so much. As always, please check out Mark Fillion's game, Chinatown Detective Agency. It's a bloody gorgeous, brilliant game. We did an interview with him. If you want to check that out, it's in the catalog. We did two episodes with him, actually. One just on Chinatown and another one on Carmen Sandiego. He's such a lovely fellow. Hi, Mark. But please go check out his game. Download it. Download the demo. Wishlist it. All that good stuff. I think I'm almost done saying stuff at you. So... check out our game, The Phantom Fellows. If you want to, wishlist it, download the demo, all that fun stuff. We just recently finished a Linux port for it. So, for the statistically speaking, half of one of you that is on Linux that's listening right now, good news, it's bloody on that. So yeah, check that out. Say hello to me on Twitter at Phantom Fellows if you want to. And that's it. That's the show. So this has been 1988. It was a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and be safe out there. That didn't feel right. Don't do murder. Yeah, it's in 1988. It's a good year. It's a
Good year, someone dies.
all right. We've got a third host here. Oh, come on. All right, I gotta take that over because other people's kids aren't cute to other people. You know, it's like that's cute to me. But all right, hold on. Sorry.